The full trailer for the 6th season of Slow Horses is finally here, meaning we now have promotional images, the teaser at the end of Season 5, some clips from this refresher video, the latest trailer, and this clip of Ko smashing some poor bloke in the face with the keyboard. Season 6 is going to be different, because for the first time in the show's history, the filmmakers will be adapting 2 of Mick Herron's novels rather than just 1. This is the first time that there hasn't been one book to directly compare and contrast. It also means that a lot of book material will be left on the cutting room floor. There's simply no way to adapt the 2 books into one season unless they cut or alter material. There's a lot to speculate on, so let's get right into it. This video will contain no spoilers and will only discuss book material in regards to what can be observed. By the looks of the marketing, this season will place a strong emphasis on this currently unnamed character played by Lenny Rush. Apparently, his father was killed after he stole a file with the Slow Horses' names in it. Book 6 and Book 7 revolve somewhat around 2 young male characters. It seems Lenny Rush's character is based around a character from Book 7 named Reece Nesmith III. Book 7 also focuses heavily on the Slow Horses being followed. In the teaser trailer at the end of Season 5, Lamb says that his Joes are being hunted. In Book 7, there's a man and a woman named John and Jane who travel as a couple. Most people who run into this couple take them to be missionaries. It seems that these 2 are knocking off slow horses one by one. In the trailer, we see has-been slow horse Moira Tregorian being sprayed in the face by the missionaries. Also, we see former slow horse Struan Loy being trapped in a burning shipping container. In the books, Struan is single. But in the show, he has a wife and kids. By the looks of it, these 2 former denizens of Slough House will not be in for a pleasant season. There's also this unknown character being bludgeoned by John in the trailer and thrown into a river. It's possible that this character is meant to be Kay White, a slow horse with a negligible role in Book 1 who ends up getting killed early in the 7th novel. As for who these 2 would-be missionaries really are and who they're working for, that remains a mystery. One way or another, this looks to be a dark and ominous season. The tagline on the poster for the season says, "They finally made the hit list." Slough House is on a fucking list, and someone is melting slow horses down for glue like there's no tomorrow. Something else apparent from the marketing is that Slough House has been scrubbed from the park's records. This is actually the cliffhanger of Book 6, which leaves Lamb uncharacteristically speechless. Roddy is trying to find information about one of the new slow horses, only to realize that all of them, including Lamb, have been erased from the park's records. Book 7 opens on a note of tension, since it's unclear why they've been erased and what that means for the slow horses moving forward. It's clear from the trailer that this season will see the return of some familiar faces. Frank Harkness, the ex-CIA assassin cult leader from Book and Season 4, will return as a villain this season. In the trailer, we can see that Frank is the one who killed the dad of Lenny Rush's character via garroting. River and Frank have history between each other, because at the end of Book and Season 4, Frank revealed that he's River's father. The park ended up turning Frank loose, even though he directly ordered Patrice to shoot up Slough House. River wants to get even, and he's had plenty of time to stew. Casually, in Book 5, River thinks he might kill his father next time their paths crossed. In Book 4, when River and Frank met face to face, Frank compared himself to Darth Vader, noting the cliché of the moment. If Frank is Darth Vader, River sure as hell isn't Luke Skywalker, who sees the good in his father and wishes to turn him from the dark side. River is ready to put this bastard in the ground. Another interesting detail in this trailer is Louisa Guy's presence. Back in Season 5, Louisa left Slough House on an apparent 6-month mental health break, but Louisa told River that she wasn't coming back. In the finale of Season 5, River calls Louisa, but it goes straight to voicemail. By the looks of the trailer, it seems that Shirley and Catherine will be pulling Louisa out of what looks like a business meeting of some kind. Perhaps life after quitting Slough House has been treating Louisa well. However, now she's caught up in this mess, along with anyone else who's ever worked at Slough House. Meaning that at long last, it's time to address the cliffhanger of the trailer. Ladies and gentlemen, Sidoni Baker is back. In Book and Season 1, Sid was River's office mate. The two pursued a disgraced journalist to find out more about a kidnapped student. However, after being given an earful of promises from Lady Di, Jed Moody entered Hobden's house, and Sid ended up getting shot in the head. In both the book and show, this is a pretty sobering moment in the story. Olivia Cooke was a pretty well-established actress, even back in 2022. Season 1 was the same year as the first season of House of the Dragon. However, it's only 2 episodes before her character is seemingly killed off. The feeling which looms in the books and show is that Sid could be alive, but in all likelihood, she's dead or brain dead. That being said, the circumstances surrounding Sid getting shot were always fishy. River immediately called an ambulance after Sid got shot. The earlier that someone with a severe head injury gets medical treatment, the better their chances. At the end of the book, however, it's said that Sid's records have been scrubbed thoroughly from the hospital where she seemingly died. In the show, Roddy suggests to River this could mean that Sid is still alive, and that the park covered up her survival. In the show, Sean Donovan tells River and Louisa, "You people are very good at covering up murders." We've all heard the stories. People who get shot in the head yet miraculously cling to life. Moreover, people who get shot in the head and make a full recovery, somehow continuing on as though an action which 99.9% of the time results in death was merely a near miss. River clings to these stories, wishing himself into believing that Sid might still be alive. Also, in the book, the gun that Moody was packing was a non-service issue .22 pistol. It's a fairly small, slow-moving round. In terms of your odds of survival, they're certainly higher than being shot with a full-size 9mm. As it turns out, Sid is one of those lucky 0.01% of people who get shot in the head. So from the beginning, Sid's supposed death was always up in the air. Heron says that Will Smith actually reminded him that Sid was still out there.
Are you ever tempted to pull an Arthur Conan Doyle and reveal that they've been alive the whole time?
The only time I've done that, I knew at the time. I would quite deliberately fudge the issue of a particular death, way back in the first novel.
I think we all know which one that is, yeah.
Yeah, I left it open as to whether this character was really dead or not.
Yeah.
And I eventually, and then I forgot all about the character. And it was actually Will Smith who said, what about
This person?
Oh, yeah, I thought, yes. Let's bring them back. And no, I wouldn't suddenly reveal that everybody kind of knew was dead, wasn't really dead. You know, there's got to have been a deliberate kind of obfuscation involved.
He thanks Will Smith in the acknowledgments of Book 5 seemingly for reminding him, because at the end of Book 5, River answers his phone and hears his name. River could have sworn that it was Sid's voice that he heard, and the phone call is brought up again in Book 6. But Sid doesn't make an appearance, likely because Heron already was well underway with the plot of Book 6 when Will Smith talked to him about Sid. She does, however, return to the series proper in Book 7, the novel simply entitled Slough House, the title of the series itself. A character always left open for the possibility of still being alive, ultimately forgotten in large part, only for said character to return 6 entire novels later. It's pretty poetic seeing this same character's absence come full circle in the show. An actress with immense star power seemingly unceremoniously killed off in the 2nd episode, only for her character to make her glorious return 5 seasons later. As to how Sid managed to survive and what impact a bullet wound to the head will leave, that remains to be seen. Now for specific moments from the novels that can be identified in the trailer. This meeting between Lamb and Taverner is straight out of Book 7, including Lamb's "What are you doing in my garden" line. Lamb and several of the slow horses meet at Blake's grave in the trailer, the same place the slow horses assembled back in Book 1 when they went dark. Possibly with the set of keys that Lamb gives to Catherine, it seems the slow horses will hunker down at a safe house. Furthermore, it seems that this will turn out to be a less than safe house. And finally, there's a funeral sequence, which understandably has been given limited marketing. This funeral is clearly taken from Book 6. Other sequences feel reminiscent of the books, if not entirely the same. There looks to be a fight sequence in a washroom between Ko and one of the missionaries. It seems that at some point there will be a shootout and car escape from a bowling alley, a sequence not based on any particular scene from the novels. And finally, there are assorted car escapes as well as car crashes. The last element of the marketing which goes into speculation is the inclusion of cast members Harry Lloyd and Lucino Samadi. In all likelihood, these characters are Damien Cantor and Oliver Nash, respectively. In Book 7, Damien Cantor is the richest man in Britain under the age of 35, a media playboy who grew up on the internet and graduated from YouTube with honors. In the book, Cantor now runs a news channel called Channel Go. On top of this, Cantor is rubbing shoulders with former Home Secretary Peter Judd. Taverner and Judd will likely be heavily involved in the plot of Season 6. Oliver Nash, on the other hand, is the new chair of the Limitations Committee. Back in Book and Season 1, the Limitations Committee worked to manage funding for MI5's operations. Back then, Roger Barabee was the thorn in Diana's side, but he got ousted in Book 2 after approving the Code September that River called in. Now that Diana Taverner is first desk, all of her decisions run through the Limitations Committee, and by extension, Nash. However, Oliver Nash actually helped Diana become first desk after Claude Whelan was dismissed. Nash is in Taverner's corner in the books, most of the time. However, he's far more bureaucratic and by the book than Lady Di. Lucien Massamati's only lines from the trailer are, "No one is unaccountable, Diana," and "there are going to be consequences." One way or another, it seems that Diana is in the hot seat this season, and Nash isn't going to be holding her hand the entire time. There is more that can be speculated on, such as exactly how the season will combine the plots of Books 6 and 7, if the show will adapt the assassination in Kazan, and of course, the absence of Lech Wyszynski. But all of that aside, this looks to be a fairly cohesive season. Several of the lines from the trailer are one for one from the book, so it seems Will Smith exiting as showrunner hasn't completely alienated this series from its roots. The cinematography, action, and performances all seem to be on point as well. So this is it. After 5 books and 5 seasons of Slow Horses, next season, for better or worse, will be combining 2 books into one thrilling season about the slow horses being hunted. Now, we just have to wait to see what comes next. Thank you so much for watching. Slough House is my favorite book series of all time. By extension, Slow Horses in many ways is my favorite show. If you want to know more about how the Slow Horses books compare to the show, you should check out my previous 2 videos, This is Slough House and London Rules. I currently plan to make individual episode breakdowns this season. Look forward to those videos in the future, as well as a breakdown of Season 6 as a whole. And to quote Jackson Lamb in this scene from the 7th Slough House novel, "Welcome to the Badlands."